Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 114, which is called Card Proxy Wars. And as you expect from the title, this one was about the introduction of the Extreme Ninja cards, which we actually first saw in the Boruto manga. So this is actually sort of the setup for like the release of the first set, and we also get to the point of the release of the second set. And it just sets up some stuff in the manga later on of the significance of like Boruto mentioning that there is a card that he specifically wants, and the whole fact that he keeps pulling the same super rare Naruto that any other player of the game would love to get, but he doesn't particularly care about it because, you know, Naruto's his father. He got the card once, he doesn't need it multiple times, and he just keeps getting that kind of bad but good luck of just pulling that really, really rare card every single time. But the episode is actually about, you know, the characters who don't appear in the card game, specifically that there's no Shino card, and he seems a little upset by this, and so they go to try and convince the company, which is Denki's father's company, to put Shino into the game. So they're shown the set list for the second set of the card game, and there's one open spot, so they suggest that it should be Shino, and they're more or less about to agree to it when Metal Lee, who's also with them, notices that, oh, my father, Rock Lee, isn't on this list either, it should be him over Shino. And so the whole episode is basically Boruto versus Metal Lee, and, you know, effectively the Rock Lee supporters versus the Shino supporters trying to get him into the card game, and just the crazy marketing methods that they go through to get the popularity up. And in the end, the obvious settlement is that both characters get put into the card game because they perform a pretty nice kind of heroic action in terms of saving this kid from a burning building right at the end. So Rock Lee and Shino team up, and they get a card at the right at the end, and everything is happy, except it seems like that they went a bit overboard, and apparently they put tons more of the Shino and Rock Lee cards into the packs than any other character, so they made them too easy to get, and now everyone has tons of those cards. So, fun little episode. Not too much to really talk about. I like to see Boruto sort of just, doing so much to try and get Shino into the game, just acknowledging that, Shino was a good teacher, that, I suppose the Academy people have actually seen how strong Shino actually is, and even though he sort of goes under the radar unnoticed, that they want him to get the sort of respect of being in the game. Similarly, Rock Lee, I suppose in the grand scheme of things, has also been a little bit of a kind of under the radar character from the original generation, and I like that Metal is trying to get his father that little bit more known. So you get effectively, it's like Boruto and Shigadai, though Shigadai doesn't really play too much of a role, versus Denki and Metal in terms of the marketing. And obviously that means they have the support of the money that Denki has, so they can do a full crazy marketing campaign, including putting Rock Lee images all over the trains, whereas like Boruto and Shigadai are just handing out, really basic sort of printed posters to get the popularity up. It is a cool idea though, just that they do put out like a popularity poll basically to decide on the card, and everyone in the village can vote on it. So that's pretty interesting. And just in general, the idea of the ninja card game, it's not just a collectible thing, there's actually a game to it as well, is very, very interesting, which is it's kind of doubly interesting given that there has just recently been released, actually, obviously in real life, a new Naruto card game from Bandai. It's not a trading card game in that the way it's done is that like there's just a couple of different starter sets, and basically if you get all the starter sets you have all the cards. So it's more of a card game system type thing. I have one of them on pre-order. I don't think it's shipped here yet because I'm in Ireland, but I'll do a video on that game once it comes out. So definitely keep an eye on my channel for once that actually arrives. But the only other real thing to say is that you have at the start and end of the episode, they sort of bookmark it with the idea that Sarada and also Chocho think it's very immature that the boys are all playing the card game. and they don't realize that, they're basically spending their money on something just as, I suppose, frivolous, that doesn't really make them seem overly mature, and that is on the new desserts or sweets that have kind of come out. So, that was just a fun little thing of just, the guys not understanding the girls not understanding the guys. But either way, fun enough episode. I like that we got to see Denki's father, and that he's actually a very interesting character when you kind of get down to it, and that he really respects all of the shinobi, and that this, as much as this is like a company thing of his company's making the card game, it's also this kind of hobby for him. He actually just really likes all the shinobi. So I kind of like that they add that sort of hobby aspect to Denki's father, of that he's just really interested in the shinobi. So he puts together this game based off, the most popular shinobi. So that's that was just pretty cool to get. You had some fun moments in the middle of the episode of like how far they went to increase the popularity. Mainly Boruto getting Iwabe to make a stone face monument of Shino on top of the kind of the Hokage monument, and he gets Iwabe to do this by giving him one of his doubles of the Naruto card, which I thought was pretty fun. In that, I believe it was one of the things that we got in the earlier episodes about Iwabe, is that he does really, really respect Naruto, so he is one of those characters who kind of would want that card. So that was a nice little callback, and just that, okay, yeah, the Earth Style guy, he makes the big stone monument, and then Metal Lee comes in and tries to carve it into Rock Lee's face. Boruto fights him off, and there's kind of a cool little back and forth of just them carving away at it until it eventually whittles down to just a kind of man-sized kind of stone thing, which they use in the kind of final scene to burst through the water tank on top of the burning building, and then Shino uses his bugs to save the kid. Proving that they're heroes. The fact that they do it from such like long range, they're up on the top of a mountain, and they just like nail the accuracy from that far away. So that was nice to see. Beyond that, that's really all there was to the episode. There's nothing really specific to talk about. Next week's episode does actually look fairly interesting, in that it's covering Team 25, which includes the guy who looks like Kakashi, kind of dresses up like Kakashi's fan, and we're seeing Kakashi in his sort of typical undercover disguise going to talk to this team. So that's interesting. Like, they're going to potentially develop some of the even lesser known characters that we didn't really get much of a chance to see. So I think that should be actually quite fun to just see where his love of Kakashi comes from, and how Kakashi goes about dealing with this team, and if they make any progress, because I don't think this team was even in the tuning exams or anything like that. So they're just kind of, they graduated, but they're fine being Genin. Will they make any improvement? What are their specialities? That's a fun thing to do while we're just waiting, I suppose, for the manga to get far enough ahead to where the anime can actually cover it. But yeah, that's been my thoughts on this episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.